Tyrese is not worried about. Look, I was telling my trainer that he was gonna be worried about that, the pressure. Um, Meaning, seven defenders that can guard one on one and not need help and be able to switch on multiple defenders. That's what I thought Tyrese was gonna struggle with. I knew he wasn't gonna struggle with the atmosphere, with the pressure of like the moment, because he's what, 5 game winners or 5 go ahead buckets to tie the game or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like, he's done
yeah.
it all series. So
Is he a superstar?
whew, I've been listening to Stephen A. ramble about
I
this.
said he is, and I actually called out Stephen A on my last podcast saying, "Yeah, you better not say that Tyrese Halliburton's not a superstar because he's
I did.
clutch."
I get what it is. He To answer your question, do I think he's a superstar? Yes, but I understand where Stephen A. is going because he's talking about guys that were waiting on to retire, right? And those are guys that no matter what Holly does in his career, he probably won't reach that level. So when you're thinking about the KDs, the Brons, the Stephs, like those type of dudes, and those are the three names that Stephen A. says every time. Um, like, you're not going to win that conversation. He's not a
But it's
superstar
just
if you're talking about, but like there are young superstars in the league. Like
that's
if
what
he's
I'm
not a
saying.
superstar, then who is?
But
That's
that's where I come from because I don't like really agree with like what Stephen A said because like he brought up Robert Horry, which was an awful like
yeah, awful,
comparison. Like if you're
awful
gonna
comparison.
ever say something like that, and then like I get like LeBron, Steph, all those guys, but like is this not similar to like how like all those
His
guys
whole
came up? Like I mean Halliburton's in that stage of his career where he's still trying to make his mark in this league.
he
And
just can't go like he's a superstar, bro. He just can't go nights like he just can't go on having nights like this because it just adds to Stephen A's point. Like, you're not worried about a guy getting 14 points. Stephen A's like the guy that you worry about on the scouting report, the number one option on the scouting report. Is he? You don't really know.
I mean, I would
Um,
say he is. Like he has to be because he creates for everyone
he
on that
cre-
team.
he creates for everyone on that team, yeah, but you have to think about it though. It's not definite.
I think
It's
it's
not.
definite. I mean, he's the best player on the Pacers by far.
He's the best player on the. I wouldn't say it's by far. I
I
think
mean, I
he's the
think it
most.
is.
He's the most important player on the Pacers.
I mean, for him to be able to play make, get everybody else involved, score the ball. He's also, I mean, he's serviceable on defense. He's not a liability. And that, like, I mean,
He's hold on, hold on,
you
hold on,
look
hold
at
on. What?
superstars like Luca. He's a
Holly's not.
complete liability.
No, Holly's a liability. He's not a liability like Luca, but he's a liability. Bro, they just attacked him for 24 minutes
But he can like once in a while make a play on defense where
because he's
he has
because
that
he
awareness.
no.
I
What?
feel like he does.
Defensively, okay, yeah, he uses his IQ to his advantage defensively, but I mean, that's just a whole bunch of running around and pointing and switch it. Like, he will get attacked defensively. He's a liability. I'm telling you. It just doesn't look as bad as Luca because Luca's just slow and out of shape. And hopefully he comes back in shape next year to help LeBron at 42 because he should feel bad if he doesn't, right? But he's definitely, bro, he's a liability because he's too small to guard. Like, you don't want him on
But
an island of
he's
set,
6'6" though.
but he's small. Like, the first, who is he gonna guard out there other than Caruso?
I mean, I mean, he's big enough to guard Shea. If you look at his
No,
physicality,
he's
like his
not.
physically, he could. Like,
Okay, he's tall enough, but he's not physical enough to guard Shea. No, Shea will run through him and be at the free throw line
fair.
15 times.
I'll give you that,
And he'll be out the game the majority of the first half. Coming in the second half, he'll get that switch again, and then he'll end up with a night that he had like tonight, and we may win the game, but that don't mean that he guarded well. Like let's not get it twisted. Holly cannot guard. That's not. He's not a defensive. He's very
That's not
much
what I'm
so.
saying. I'm saying he can like he's
Well,
not a
he's
complete like
very much so a liability. We can hide him better than you can hide a Luka, but he's a liability on this team because of how well everybody else guards. Put it that way. The Lakers, I mean, when in doubt, we're a better. Okay, I'm not to go at names specifically, but we're a better team defensively than the Lakers are. So with this team, he's definitely a liability because of how well everybody else can guard. Think about everybody else on the floor. Nobody else needs as much help as Holly needs. Nobody else is getting attacked defensively as much as he is. He's the guaranteed switch that you can get a one-on-one bucket on the Pacers, unless TJ McConnell's on the floor. Or you want to get a big on you, and everybody can do that. But they're not just going to switch on the big. You can get Holly to switch. You know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
For some reason, and they try the hard heads, soft heads, but they just kill that. So then it's like, all right, switch. And then you just play right into their hands. So he's definitely a liability. For sure. I mean, we just saw it. And you're going to keep seeing it. It's going to be worse and worse. They're just going to Rick Carlisle's just a Hall of Fame coach, so he's just not going to allow him to get exploited. But that doesn't mean he's not a liability. That's not what that means. JJ Redick just hasn't gotten there yet, and he will because JJ's a hell of a coach. But
yeah.
LeBron's also coaching that team, so like that's a whole nother story. But like
Yeah. I mean, I guess since the
Rick
hiding
Carlisle's
part,
not going to let him get exploited.
well, I guess
That's
that's where it comes into play then, because when you watch the Pacers, I mean, that's where you don't see it
right.
when it comes to the eye test. Like you just don't see it, like
Rick
ever.
Carlisle.
Because I've never seen Halliburton just get absolutely cooked. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen that.
But what's your definition of getting cooked?
Like, I'm talking like just getting blown by, like on a drive. Like
It's
I've
not even getting blown by on the drive. It's just pressure on the rim. Like there's guys on your team that you don't got to worry about
so on the perimeter, you don't think he can hold his own guarding on the perimeter. But when it comes to the paint, I see what you're saying.
guarding on the perimeter.
You don't
It's
think he
not
can
that I.
stay in front of anybody.
It's not that I don't think he can stay in front of anybody. Like anybody can stay in front when they want to, right? It's just that's not his job, so that's not at the forefront of his mind. Like he's not out there to play defense, so he's
Yeah.
not trying to give 100% effort. All defense is about is effort and intelligence, right? Like he has both of those. He just doesn't exert it on defense because it's not his job. Like
Yeah, but I mean,
therefore he's a
I feel like
liability.
he's serviceable. Like
Yeah,
he's not going to completely get exposed on the defensive end. I mean, if you put a guy like
if
on
you
Chet
want
on
to
him, of course he's going to get exposed
if
because
you want to expose him, you can, bro. If you want to get him in foul trouble early, you can. That's a liability.
you can get him in
That's a
foul
that
trouble.
in my opinion, that's a liability. Like if you can get two quick fouls on you just because they're gonna get a switch and then attack you, you're a liability. They're the first guy that on every team in that starting lineup, he's the first guy they look to attack. The first guy. And then
Yeah,
TJ McConnell comes to
yeah. I
sub
mean,
for him.
he's
And
the starting five. He's
they
the
look
worst defender.
right, the
Like,
only
it's,
reason why they look to attack TJ is because he's small. If TJ
yeah,
had his height, they wouldn't attack TJ.
no.
He's the worst defender on the team. And I'm not throwing shade on him. I love him. What the Haliburton, all of that. I'm for it. He's finna be the greatest pacer ever. But let's not dispute
But
that
we're
he's a
talking
bad.
about the greatest pacer e-
He's
ever,
still a bad
possibly not even
defender.
being a superstar in your eyes. I mean, I just think
It's
I
just
wouldn't,
tough, bro.
I would say
I
he's in the
said he no.
conversation.
I answered your question. I said he was a
Oh, yeah, you
superstar.
did say yeah. Oh, yeah, you
I
did say
said
yeah.
yes. I just see what Stephen A. saying because it's in the air every night if he's gonna be the one or two option because we have Siakam.
Well, I see
And
what
I
you're
don't
saying
think
with the consistency part because he goes for games
right,
like he'll have games like in last series against Knicks, like he had a game 5, he took 7 shots, had 8 points. Like he has nights like that.
right.
But I mean, I think this consistency part
Like,
will
bro,
get
he doesn't
there.
even look like, and this is like a far, far, far-fetched statement. Could be absolutely wrong in 10 years. But just to throw it out there right now, he doesn't even look like a career 20-point per game scorer. Not
He's
because he can't, not because he can't, but because he like that's just not
he's more like
like
Steve Nash. He's not going to put
right.
up 20, but he's going to put up like maybe 20 assists.
He's important. You need him on the floor to win basketball games. And he gonna hit big shots. He's not afraid of the moment. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. But like Stephen A saying, that doesn't make you superstar compared to the numbers that every other superstar is putting up. Like when you think of even when you think of young superstars right now,
I don't
they
even know if
and
you focus on the numbers so much because I mean, when Steve Nash was playing, was he a superstar?
that's a whole different era.
But he was a superstar though. Like he won an MVP and he was putting up similar
And he
numbers.
shouldn't have won that MVP.
But he was putting up great numbers, very similar to
Was
Haliburton. Like he's
yeah,
averaging
he
double
was.
digit assists.
But
I mean, like, is
he
that
shouldn't
not
have won that
fair?
MVP. Number one, Kobe should have won
Oh,
that MVP. And
but
then
weren't the Suns the number one team that year? I mean, I don't.
they were, but Holly can't. Oh, okay. So you want to? Holly can't average those same numbers and be the MVP in this league if that's what like
Well, no, if you got players like Shea, no,
right.
absolutely not.
So that's what I'm saying. Shea's averaging what he's averaging. You give him MVP. It was even harder to average those kind of numbers in that type of league, and Kobe was doing it. So there's no way in hell Kobe doesn't get that MVP. But for some reason, Steve Nash got it. No shade on Steve Nash, but you brought it up. Steve Nash did not deserve the MVP whatsoever.
I'm not saying whether he did or didn't. That's a different conversation. But I was saying the numbers and the impact he had on the game is very similar to what Halliburton is
Very
doing right
similar.
now.
Very similar. And he was a superstar, and that's why I will give him the nod on being a superstar. I just think Stephen A has a point because Siakam is our number one option on some nights.
Yeah, on in
Nimhard,
scoring. Yeah,
Nimhard is our
yeah.
number one option.
He
On
felt more like the well tonight. Like Nimhard was the primary
right,
ball handler. So like
right, right,
that's the first time I've really seen Nimhard
right,
take control of the offense like that.
right.
Like
Like
Halliburton
like
was playing off the ball.
even on a team with LeBron James, right? Like Kyrie Irving still gets 41 in Game 6. Like you probably not going to see like if Siakam has 41, Tyrese is not going to get 41.
Yeah,
If Siakam has
but I mean,
30,
then like I mean, LeBron.
like
Everyone knew LeBron was the number one option, but there were some nights where Kyrie was. You know, it just kind of it can switch hands depending on the situation and how the game is flowing. Because Siakam
right,
may not
but
be the number one option every night. I mean, that's the great thing about the Pacers, though, is that they have multiple guys that they can go to. They don't have one guy that's like, "Hey, you have to do this. You have to get 30."
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my